Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to discuss about session host update for Azure Virtual Desktop. This is a new feature which is currently in public preview, so do not try in production. If you find this video useful, please subscribe and hit the bell icon for the future updates. If you want to learn more about Azure Virtual Desktop or Citrix or AWS or Netscaler technologies, you can check out my bestseller Udemy course, which is also available in Udemy for Business. So, session host updates, it is a feature which enables you to update underlying virtual machine image, size, disk type, and other configuration properties. In order to understand the session host update, we need to go back and see how we used to do the session host update in the traditional method. So when you are creating a host pool, so consider a traditional deployment. So where you will create your virtual machine, which is known as a golden image. Then you will convert this as an image, and this image you're going to store in compute image gallery. Okay. So once it is in compute image gallery, then you will create a host pool. So this host pool will take an image from this and it will deploy a number of VMs. For example, VM 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so once you deploy four VMs, these four VMs are independent. So if you wanted to do any update, you need to do manually on these VMs using any other tool such as SSCM or any other patching tool. So this will create a challenge. For example, let's say if you wanted to create a new VMs or if you wanted to add any new VMs to this host pool maybe after 1 year, then probably you cannot take this image. So because this image will have older applications or older patches, so you will have to do a lot of work. For example, let's say if you take this image and you deploy another 3 VMs, let's say 5, 6, 7. So these 3 VMs and these 4 VMs are not the same. So maybe in the old VMs we may have, let's say, 10 applications. In the new VMs we may have like 5 applications because we have taken the old images. So this will create a inconsistency and user will have issues. This is the challenge we all used to face when we use our traditional way of updating the session host. So now with the help of Microsoft session host update feature, we can overcome from these challenges. So let's see how session host updates works in detail. So consider you have created a virtual machine which you referring as a golden image, and from that you have created a image, for example image 1. So this image is having 5 applications and some patches, etc. So from this image you will create a host pool. So this host pool, let's say, having 4 VMs. So all these VMs are created from this image. So let's say after 1 month or 2 months you wanted to update the image with the latest applications. Let's say if you wanted to add 5 more applications and the latest patches, what you are going to do, typically we are going to create a VM from the existing image. So in this VM we are going to install our application, the remaining application. So now let's say this is having 10 application and we have the patches as well. So now we will convert this into image. So now this image we call it as image 2. So now we have the image ready. However, we need to update our existing VMs with this image. So let's see with the help of session host update feature how we can achieve this. So the first thing what we have to define, we need to define the batch. There is something called batch. So batch is nothing but the number of VMs which we wanted to put it in the maintenance mode initially. So basically, if you select one, so one VM will be added to the maintenance mode, and this will be replaced with the new image. If you put two, two VMs will be added to the maintenance mode, and then it will be replaced with the new image. So accordingly, as per your requirement, you have to select this number. So this will help us to plan the downtime or minimize the downtime during the host pool update. For example, let's say in this example I have 4 VMs. So I will select batch as 1. So it means that when I initiate the session host update, what it will do, it will put this the first VM in a drain mode. So once this VM enter into the drain mode, then the session host update feature, it will send a message to the users who logged into this VM. For example, let's say user 1 is logged into this VM. So it will ask the user to log off. So you can define the time, like let's say from 0 to 60 minutes or 90 minutes. So within that time, the user should log off. And then this VM will be removed from the session host pool. So once it get removed, it will delete it from Azure, and then the session host feature, it will create a new VM from this image. And once the new VM is ready, then it will add this VM back to this host pool. So now we have 4 VMs. Out of 4 VMs, one is updated, and the remaining three still yet to update. And once it is part of the host pool, it will remove the drain mode. Now the first VM, it is not in a drain mode and user able to connect. So now the second VM, it will come to the picture, and the second VM will get to the drain mode, and then it will follow the same process. Let's say it will get removed from the host pool, and then it will be deleted from the Azure portal, and then the session host feature, it will create a new VM, and that VM will be again added back to my host pool, and then it will be removed the drain mode, and it is back to the production. Similarly, the third one and the fourth one will also same procedure. So this is how you can do the host pool upgrade with the help of this new feature, and it will always use the new image. So now the question is how we can mention the new image details, or how we wanted to, let's say if I wanted to update the session host along with the new image, I also wanted to change the VM size or disk skew from premium to standard or standard to premium, etc. So these are all the things you can do using the session host configuration. So there is something called session host configuration, which I already discussed. So you can update this. You can say that for the next update I need image 2, and the VM size, instead of D series I need E series, and instead of disk standard disk I can mention premium disk, and instead of deploying it in zone 1 and 2, deploy it in zone 2 and 3. All those things you can change, and you can save that in the session host configuration. So whenever you do any new update, it will read from here, and it will do the changes to the session host VMs accordingly. So this is extremely helpful, so you no need to manually perform any task such as change the VM size or disks, etc. So I wanted to inform something related to the host pool upgrade feature when it comes to the VM host names. So for example, let's say you have a VM1 and VM2 which are part of your host pools. So when you are running the host pool upgrade, as I told you, it will delete the existing VMs. So let's say if it is deleting the existing VMs, however, in the Active Directory AD, you will have the same name. So VM1, right? So it will not delete the Active Directory names. So only the deletion will happen on the Azure portal. When it is creating a new VM from the new image, so what it will do, it will keep the name VM1. On top of it, it will add date and time format. So for example, let's say your VM1 will be you will see like today's date is 24/11/2024. So this is the new name you will see on the Azure portal. However, the name on the Active Directory will be remain same, which is VM1 itself. It will not be replaced with this name. So this is the beauty of this feature. So you no need to worry anything about your identity. So on the identity, it will be same on the AD level. Only it will change in the Azure portal. So let's see the prerequisites for the session host update feature. So the first prerequisites, we should have desktop virtualization, virtual machine contribute. This role should be assigned to Azure Virtual Desktop service principal, okay, on the resource group level or on the subscription level. And please note, this feature currently doesn't support Entra ID join, so you should either join to Active Directory domain, and it also supported hybrid ID join. And the next prerequisites, we should have a key vault. So basically, we need to store our Active Directory username and password, and the local admin and password for the VM creation as well as for the VM domain join. So we should store it in key vault secret. So basically, for the Azure Virtual Desktop service principal, we need to provide a key vault secret user permission if we are defining the RBAC, or you can create a access policy where you can define the get secret permission options for the Azure Desktop service principal. And the last one is the account which you are going to use for the session host update. That Azure account should have these permissions, which is desktop virtualization host pool contributor and application group contributor and virtual machine contributor. So in a nutshell, AVD service principal should have permissions like desktop virtualization virtual machine contributor and the key vault secret or key vault secret user or get secret permissions on the service principal level. So you can either this apply to resource group or you can apply to on the subscription based as well. So on top of it, you should have a Azure user which is having these many permissions. Those are going to perform the session host update activity. So let's see how to use session host update feature to do the upgrade of our session host in Azure Virtual Desktop. So before I start the lab, so I wanted to make sure that I have the proper permissions. So I'm using a account which is already having contributor rights on my subscription. So I'm not going to explicitly define any permissions for this account. However, for the Azure Virtual Desktop service principal, already have provided contributor permission on the subscription level itself. So if I go to my subscription and if I go to my IAM, so if I search for Azure Virtual Desktop, so we should see the permissions over here. So this is the service principal. So let's see what are the permission it is having. So as you can see, I have given the contributor permissions to Azure Virtual Desktop. So in a production infra, this is not recommended since this is a lab. So I'm providing the contributor access. So in your infra, so you have to define the permissions accordingly, which is mentioned in the article. So the first thing, we need to have a key vault, and we need to define our username, which is Active Directory username and password to take the domain of the VM, and we need to save those details in the key vault secrets. And then we need to have a local admin credential for the virtual machine which it is creating. So I'm going to create a key vault. So here in this tab, so I'm going to define the name for the key vault. So the name I'm going to define VDI-KV13. So let's define the resource group for this, and I'll keep this in Central US, and rest everything is similar, and I'm not going to change anything over here. I'll click on next. So in the access configuration, so either you can define through Azure RBAC, or you can create the Vault access policy. So I will keep it as Azure rollback. So make sure under resource access, select Azure Virtual Machine for deployment and Azure Resource Manager for template deployment. So these two options we need. So then you can click on next. Networking, I will keep as it is. So you can change it accordingly. So I will click and review and I'll hit on create. So the key vault it is creating now. So it will take a while. Just wait for this. So the key vault process is completed. So let's go to the key vault. So in this key vault, we need to go to the objects. So here we need to create the secrets. So before we define or before we create secrets, we need to assign the permission. So let's go to the access control, and then we need to click on add role assignment. So we need to select the user. So currently I'm logged in with this user. So I have to define the permission, which is key vault administrator. So I'll define key vault administrator for this user. So I'll click next. Here we need to select the member. So this is the user I currently logged in. So I'll select this and I'll click on next and I'll click on create and assign. So now we have added the permissions to this user to create the secrets. So let's go to the secrets and here we need to click on generate. So I'm going to enter this as a domain user and the secret value will be avd admin at avdbus.site. So this is the secret value which is my user or service account to take the VMs in domain. So that's enough. So let's click on create. So now we need to create one more. This is for the password. So I'll hit as password here, domain password, and I'll enter the secret which is the password. I'll click on create. So now we have domain username and credential. Similarly, we have to define for the local admin of the virtual machine it's going to create. So I'll define as local admin. So secret value. So here we need to mention the secret value, which is our local admin name. So I'll hit on create. Similarly, we need to create for the password as well. So I'll enter as local admin password. Here I'll enter the password. Let's click on create. So now we have both domain as well as local admin credential for the VM domain join as well as for the local account creation of the virtual machine. Now we need to assign permission to our Azure Virtual Desktop Service Principal to read these secrets. So in order to assign the permission, we need to go back again to the Azure Access Control, which is IAM, and then we need to hit on Add Role Assignment, and then we need to hit on Key Vault Secret User. So here we need to enter the Azure Virtual Desktop Service Principal. So basically what we are doing, we are providing Azure Virtual Desktop Service to read the secrets. So let's click on review and design. So now the key vault part is completed. So now let's go back to Azure Virtual Desktop Blade, and here we will click on host pool, and then we can create a new host pool which is for the session host upgrade. So I'm going to select the resource group and then I'm going to give a name as avd session host update shu, and the location, this is the metadata east us, and then the preferred app group is desktop. I'm going to deliver desktop, and here I'm going to select pooled. So this is the catch. So create session host update configuration. So this is we have to select. So when you enable this, you can utilize this new feature. So if you wanted to go with the traditional, you can go with you can select this one. So now I wanted to select yes, and then it will ask the breadth first concept, and the maximum user will be, I'm going to enter 2 user for now. And next it will create next it will ask for the session host details, so which is similar. So the first option will be here how many VMs we need. So I'm going to enter that I need 2 VMs, and then I'm going to define a name pattern. I'm going to define the naming pattern for this. For example, I'm going to enter it as avd VM session host update, and the location, so I'm going to select central us because I have my VD network etc deployed already in central us. So I'll choose this. Availability zones, so I'm going to define only in availability zone 1 for now, and I'll keep all this trusted launch, secure boot, etc. Image, yeah, this is important, so I'm going with 23h2. Then later we will do a upgrade to 24h2 using session host update feature. So I'll select 23h2 now. CPU, I'll change it for the B series because I wanted to save cost since this is a demo lab. So I'll go with the low specification VM, which is probably I'll go with the B2MS for now. And when it comes to virtual network, so I already created a virtual network, so I'll select this one. And network security group, I'm not choosing anything because I already attached one NSG to the existing subnet. So this is very important. Select the directory to which you would like to join. So I'm selecting active directory because as of now Entra ID is not supported. So this is very important. So now we need to select our service account for the domain join. So we already created a key vault, so I'm going to select that key vault. And then from that key vault I'm going to select the domain user. So when I select this, it will go in my Azure Virtual Desktop. Service principal will go and fetch the required secrets. So for the password, I'll go into select domain password secret. Specify domain. Yes, we have to specify the domain, which is avd bus.site. Organization unit, I'm not going to choose anything for now. I'll keep as it is. Keyword, this is for the local account of the virtual machine. So again, we have to select the same keyword, and here we need to mention the secrets, and then for the password also local admin password. So now we are done with this password and username things. So let's go back to, so now let's go to the next option, which is workspace. Yes, I will create a new workspace for this. So I will name it as workspace hyphen demo. Then I'll hit on OK. Then we can click on review and create. So this will validate all the settings and it will inform you if anything is missing. So let's give some time for the validation. So the validation is completed. Now we can click on create. So this will take some time for the creation of host pool. So let's wait for some time. So the deployment is completed. Now our session host is ready. So let's go to the session host. So let's go to the host pool. So here is my host pool, which is avd-shu. So if I go inside this, so I should see two virtual machines which is in a available state. So let's assign this virtual machine or the VDI to one of the user. So I'll go to the application blade and I will assign it to the user. So I'm going to assign it to AVD admin. So let's log into the host pool using this user and we will see the VDI versions. So now we have successfully logged into the VDI, and now we will open the command prompt to check the Windows version. So I'm going to run winver. So as you can see, it is 23H2. So this is the build. So I'll keep this VM logged in. Now I'll go back to my host pool and I'll try to do the host pool update. So to do that, we need to go to the host pool and then we need to select our host pool. So then we have to go to the total machine blade. So here we will see one option which is manage session host configuration and then manage session host update. These are very important options. So you have to mention everything in this manage session host configuration. Let's say you wanted to update the VM with the new version of image, or you wanted to change the size of this VM from B series to D series, or you wanted to change the disk SKU from premium to standard or HDD. All those configuration change you will do it here and you will save it. So if you wanted to see the existing one, let's go to view. So it will show what are the configurations we have defined initially. So, so as you can see, we have defined naming prefix, we have defined the VM location, and we have defined the VM SKU, similarly the standard HDD type, etc., etc. So if you wanted to change this, what you have to do, you need to go back to your session host configuration and then click on edit configuration. So here the very important thing is, first we need to see what are the current host pool size. So we have two VMs in total in the host pool, and then we need to define the VM batch size. So this is basically it will remove this particular number of VMs during the upgrade. For example, let's say if I enter one, so first it will add one VMs to the drain mode and it will be replaced with the new image or new configuration. So if I mention two, it will remove two VMs at a time from the host pool. So if you select two, as you can see, it turned to zero. So user will not have any VMs to access. So you will have downtime. So always make sure that you have to select less number than the current host pool size, so that your user will always have a VM to log in. So let's say if you have 100 VMs in a host pool, try to do a batch of 10. So you like that you can define your VM batch size. So in this example, I'll enter one so that another one VM will be available for the user during the upgrade. So next I will click on session host. So it will pre-populate everything which we defined in the initial stage. So if you wanted to change, you can do the changes over here. So in this case, the image I'm going to change it to 24H2. On top of it, I'm going to change the OS disk type from HDD to standard, and remaining everything I will keep as it is, and I'll click on schedule. So here you have an option. Either you can update right away, or you can schedule it to for some date and time. So in this example, I'm going to select schedule update right now, and then I'll click on notification. So here we have to define the sign out notification. The meaning of this is, once the VMs gets into drain mode, those who are logged into the VM, they will get the notification saying that you are about to log in log out. So it will wait for 2 minutes, then it will automatically log them out from the VM. So this is the custom message you can define over here. So I'll keep it as it is, click on review, and then we can click on update. So this will take time, approximately 15-20 minutes it will take per VM. So let's wait. So once you click on update, so you will get redirected to this page, so where you can see the update. So current progress is 0%, so because it did not update any VMs at this moment, so it is currently doing the update process. So let's refresh and wait for some time. And one change you can see here, it went to the drain mode, one of the VM where we don't have any user at this moment. And also you can see what is the current version and what is the targeted version. So if you go to the virtual machine blade, here also you can monitor. So you can see the first VM, which is AVD VM SHU0. It is appended by the date and time, and also it is saying creating. So it means that it will delete the existing VM and it will create a new VM with this name in the Azure portal. And however, in the Active Directory, it will be the same name, which is AVD VMSHU-0. So now you can see the session host got removed. So now it will add the new VM, which is from the new configuration, which means new image, new VM, disk type, etc. So let's wait. So if you go to the VM blade, as you can see, the old VM, so which will be in a stopped state. So ultimately it will delete this VM. So this will be the new VM, as you can see, appended by the date and time. So this will get added to the host pool in some time. Similarly, once it completes, then it will target this particular VM, and then it will update this as well. And please note, we already launched the VDI, so we already logged in here. So this will not updated yet. So once the first one is online, then it will send a message to this user to log off, and then it will perform the update of this VM as well. So you can also monitor here the total session is one over here. So as you can see now, the VM got added back to the host pool. Currently, it is doing the upgrade of the ID agent. So it will take a couple of seconds or minutes to be in the available state. So let's again wait for some time. So as you can see now, the VM which is in available state. So basically, this is VM which is from the latest configuration. So if you wanted to confirm, so let's go back to our VM blade, and we will see the details such as we have changed the disk skew, etc. So as you can see here that the disk which is using, so it belongs to standard SSD LSR. However, earlier it was an HDD. So similarly, the image, as you can see, it is Windows 11 24H2. So this is also one more change we have did in the configuration. So similarly, if you see the source image plan, now it is updated to Windows 11 24H2. Earlier it was 23H2. So this is how it will do the session host update. So now if you see the second VM on which I have logged in, so it already turned on the drain mode. So if I go to the VM, I should see the message to log off. So I'm going to the VM. So as you can see, we are getting the alert saying that shutdown alert, you will be sent out. So this basically ask you to log out. So this will ask you to log out from the VDA. Otherwise, after 2 minutes, it will sign you out automatically, and then it will start the process of updating with. Then it will start the process of updating the VM with the latest configuration. So if you go to the portal, so if you refresh it, you will see one tab here saying that 50% is completed. It means that one VM is updated and another one is pending. So one when both VMs are updated, then it will show as 100%, and it means it is completed. So then we will have to wait for another maybe 15-20 minutes. So if you go back to the virtual machine blade again, as you can see, you will not see the VM with the name avd vmsh-0, because it got deleted and it is updated with this name. So however, if you see the another VM which is yet to update, so it is already started to create the VM for that. So this is from the new version, and this will be eventually get shut down and it will be deleted. However, as you noticed, the VM name in the active directory or on the operating system level, it will be same. So it will not replaced with the new format or new name. This is how we can maintain our identity of our virtual machines. So if you go back again to our VDA, you can see it is already logged off. It means that it is going to update the session host. If you go again, as you can see, it will be in a name maintenance mode, and the session is zero now. Eventually it will remove from the session host, and then it will add the new VM with the latest update. So let's wait for some time, then we can see all the VMs in this host pool with the up to date configuration. So now what I can do in the meantime, so I can log into the virtual machine. Then I should be able to get the VM, which is the available VM. So let's try that. So I'm going to click on reconnect and allow. So I'll enter my password here. So I have logged into the VM successfully. So let's see the Windows version. So as you can see, now it is 24H2. It means that my VM got successfully upgraded using session host update feature. So now if I go back to our session host, so now if I go back to our host pool, as you can see, the session host update has been successfully completed. So it means that both the VMs now running on the latest version of image, which is 24H2, and also we have changed the disk from standard HDD to SSD. So this is how you can use session host update feature where you can update not only just image, you can change the disk or VM or many configuration which I highlighted earlier. So this is extremely useful if you are managing large scale Azure Virtual Desktop infrastructure. If you find this video useful, please subscribe and hit the bell icon for the future updates. If you want to learn more about Azure Virtual Desktop or Citrix or AWS or Netscaler technologies, you can check out my bestseller Udemy course, which is also available in Udemy for Business.